Hey everybody, I'm ZombieJohnny, and today we're going to be taking a look at a manga that was created with some interesting beginnings. This is Black Magic. Black Magic was written and illustrated by Masamune Shirow and published by Eclipse Comics. Black Magic was originally published in 1983. The story of Black Magic opens with the explanation of the colonization of Venus and the creation of the supercomputer Nemesis. There is a very long-winded explanation at the bottom of the second page that makes little sense and isn't really relevant to the whole story. A team of mercenaries is flying towards a location of the last direct descendant of Nemesis, a very powerful magic user who has fallen asleep. The team of mercenaries is confident that they will be able to wipe her out with a few missiles from their ship. This plan goes horribly wrong and they are taken care of quickly. After her home is completely destroyed, the young sorceress finds her way into a safe place. The owner of the safe place, which happens to be a business, gives her a sword. This sword was given to him by Nemesis for safekeeping. The young sorceress named Duna Typhon is welcomed into the business and is given the sword. Typhon discovers there is something hidden in the hilt of the sword. The hidden message in the hilt is a command from Nemesis. Just at the same moment she discovers the message, the business is surrounded by an assault force. Typhon uses the sword and vaporizes all of the surrounding forces with one quick flick of the blade. Typhon and the crew make a quick getaway, and this is where the adventure begins. The first thing I have to state is that the story is lightning fast and all over the place. During the first book, I had no real clue of what was going on. You are introduced to the main characters and then you move on to a completely different set of characters who don't even really have names. To be honest, the whole story doesn't really feel like a complete story. It's just a couple of short stories that don't really go anywhere and in my honest opinion, don't really have any substance to them. It feels like Shirow had a collection of short stories based in the same universe, and then he compiled them into one book. And hey, look at that! An appearance from Son Goku himself, looking much more like his original Chinese fable depiction. To be honest here, there isn't much more to say about the story. I'm going to talk a little bit about the artwork, and the first thing I have to say is that sometimes Shirow's work has a resemblance of Osamu Tezuka's illustrations, and sometimes it looks like Leiji Matsumoto's work as well. Osamu Tezuka is famously known for titles such as Astro Boy and Blackjack, and Matsumoto is known for titles such as Galaxy Express 999, and he was the supervisor on the Daft Punk music video series Interstellar 4-5. There isn't too much more to be talked about with Black Magic. Even the wiki pages focuses more on the OVA than the manga itself. Maybe that goes to show how much of an impact it really had. Well, with that, let's move on to the OVA. The OVA starts with a spaceship crash and some capsules containing biodroids are ejected. These capsules labeled M66 seem to be coming to life. A group of soldiers is deployed at the crash site. The soldiers secure the scene, but unbeknownst to them, a news reporter named Sybil gets word and sneaks onto the scene. Later that day, two hikers are walking through the woods miles away from where the crash took place, and something disposes of them quickly. It is suspected that the M66 is the culprit. Later that day, Sybil and her co-worker are continuing their journalism on the scene, but are apprehended by the soldiers. Moments later, the soldiers have their first contact with the M66. This is where the adventure begins. The story of the OVA seems to be based off Chapter 3 in the manga. In the manga, a violent biodroid named M77 is deployed and is taken care of by a military force. The OVA doesn't seem to have much relation to the manga. It seems like a more fleshed out story that was written and made into an OVA. Some of the characters in the OVA seem to be loosely based off the characters from the manga. The animation in the OVA is surprisingly very good. I mean, I've watched my fair share of OVAs, and the production value in this one is actually quite high. Overall, the OVA is worth the watch. At this point, you can find it in English dubbed on YouTube. You might even recognize a couple of the voice actors as well. Masamune Shirow is a powerhouse in the cyberpunk genre. This is especially prevalent in his Ghost in the Shell series, which I would say is probably his most popular works. It has had multiple adaptations across all platforms of media. Throughout the Ghost in the Shell series, it has influenced major works, most notably the Matrix series. Ghost in the Shell is really what brought Shirow into the limelight, but Black Magic does have its charms. There is another series that Shirow has published, named Dominion, or the series that I'm familiar with, New Dominion Tank Police, which is my personal favorite work of his. He has also created the series Appleseed, which I know is popular in its own sense, but it's a series I've never really been interested in. I think in the end, Black Magic is a humble beginnings for a major name in the manga and anime genre. Maybe not the first thing to start with Shirow's bibliography, but you can see where his sci-fi and cyberpunk prowess has begun. Total page count, 152. Total volumes, 4 comic books or 1 manga volume. Total score, 3 out of 5. Well, thank you so much for watching. You guys are pretty lucky you got 2 reviews in 1 week, but I knew when I started reading Black Magic that I had to do a review on it and I had to get it out quickly. If I didn't, I was going to lose my motivation again, and it would turn out to be like V for Vendetta, and it would take me 5 or 6 months to get done. So the review is done. I hope you all enjoyed it. I do have some things planned. I haven't really decided exactly which comic book or a manga that I'm going to review next, but I do have a couple of little short videos that I've been planning on doing, and hopefully I'll be able to get those out soon. And I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, and safe. I'm ZombieJohnny. Peace.